Welcome back, everybody. It's game 2 time, and this is Invictus Gaming versus LAI, second best of 1 for the evening here in SLTV Star Series Season 11. This is your China group stage. You're here on Beyond the Summit, and I'm Basskip. It's great to be joining all of you guys tonight for some more Chinese Dota action. We had some musical chairs going on in the lobby before this game. We had a lobby up. Everybody joined. It seems like the admin disconnected or had his Dota crash, so he had to leave and reopen a new lobby. Then everybody was confused. Then we had to convince everybody to go to the new lobby. It was a bit of a mess, and it has delayed the start of this game a little bit, but we are here and we are ready to go. Apologies for anybody that was confused about RTK sitting in the slot. Burning is standing in for Chuan for the duration of this series of for this season of Starladder, from what I understand, or at least for the group stages. And from what I understand, Luo was actually trapped in a pub game and wasn't quite able to make it here just yet. So he's here now. We're ready to go. For anybody wondering what's happening to Chuan, I believe he's still in China at the moment, but he's going to be heading to Seattle for the, I'm probably messing this up, but the Red Bull event. I think it's Red Bull Battlegrounds. So he's going to be there along with a bunch of other people for various reasons. I think some of the Beyond the Summit guys are going to provide coverage. Should be a great event, but that's why we have Burning here in the stand-in slot, back playing some competitive Dota 2, and I think we're all excited to see him play. Personally, I'm excited to see him play some Dota with Ferrari. Both of them are legends in their own rights, so let's see if their play can just speak for itself. Meanwhile, jumping ourselves into this game, we've got IG banning out a Morphling, somewhat interestingly, and a Brewmaster. I'm still getting my bearings in terms of what the Chinese scene is drafting at the moment, but as quickly as I think I have my bearings set again, each team is throwing a spanner in the works. Each team is doing something a little bit different, so we'll just have to take things as they go. Wisp and Razor banned out here in the second phase by Invictus Gaming, following up from Ogre Magi and Tidehunter picks in the first round. They've got some good push, and they've got some some good team fights, some good push, and some very durable heroes to start things out. Meanwhile, LAI, pretty similar opening to what we saw LGD going for in the previous game. They've got the Skywrath, they've got the Ember Sword, they've got the pick-off, they've got the burst damage, and then they're just looking for a little bit more on top of it. Probably someone durable in the front lines as well if they can get it, though of course that Brewmaster is banned out, so they may have to look down other avenues for that. Worth noting, of course, that the Jakiro did make it all the way through to this point, so if IG are looking to augment some of that team fight with a little bit more tower pressure, they could definitely be looking towards something along those lines. And very quickly, the LAI Gaming bans, of course, Faces Forward, Batrider, Pickoff, not wanting to deal with it, and Lion and Mirana both removed. Lion, of course, nice to have against the Ember Spirit, good lockdown, good burst. Not sure what to make of the Mirana, but perhaps LAI just a little bit worried about some roaming Potom making its way around the map. Though, from what I remember, it was primarily Chuan playing the roaming support Mirana for Invictus Gaming. So I don't know if we'll be seeing it here.
5 seconds.
Once again, guys, if you have any issues with the stream, sound, video, anything technical, please do leave me a message in chat, and I'm more than happy to get on top of that. Otherwise, anything else? Oh, there is a storm raging around my apartment at the moment, so if the power goes out, it's very unlikely that it'll happen, but the power could very well go out, and yeah, then the stream would naturally go down. So I don't think it'll happen, but it could, and I figure I'll give all of you guys a warning beforehand. So LAI will just be picking themselves up a Slark. Their lineup is still extremely pick-off dependent. Not looking all that good if a 5-on-5 breaks out. They're all squishy. None of them are going to do particularly well against a Blink Ravage or Blink Puck combo. So they do definitely need to get out of the early game with some reasonable farm and get those pickoffs rolling. Keep IG back on their side of the map and keep them split up as much as possible with the Ember Spirit and the Slark split push, Ancient Apparition doing the counter push job. He's definitely going to need as fast a 6 as he can get in this game. And Invictus Gaming, the question now is just what big damage dealer will be going along with the Tide and the Puck. They've got Initiation covered, they've got Teamfight covered. Now all they need is something to hit those buildings, to hit those heroes in these team fights. We could go for something like a Terrorblade, Lycan is still in the pool, though perhaps a little bit unlikely against the LAI cores that we see picked up at this stage. And what else could be good? Heck, something like a Wraith King wouldn't even be too terrible. Just add some blinking right-click DPS onto the top of all of this. It would leave their tower damage a little bit lacking, but you can't always have everything. And if they're winning team fights, they should still be able to siege down towers regardless. So we'll see what they end up going for here. Even something like a Razor wouldn't necessarily do too badly. But looks like that's going to be the answer to the question, as we have a Naga Siren picked up. Not sure who exactly is going to be playing that, but my inclination would be to say Burning, perhaps on the safe lanes. So
10 seconds
a return to the safe lane Naga for him, perhaps, and a return to something very familiar for fans or watchers of the recently deceased DK squad. So we'll see what ends up happening here. Jakiro, as mentioned before, I think a very natural ban. Song of the Siren sets up beautifully for Macropyre Ice Paths, and he's a good pushing support to have in this game as well. Also, AoE disable is very nice to have against the Slark, so I think for all of those reasons, Jakiro makes a ton of sense. Could still see something like a Disruptor picked up for Invictus Gaming here to round out the lineup. Also, great synergy with the Naga Siren, good against the Ember, good against the Slark. So Invictus Gaming definitely still have options remaining in the pool, depending on what they want to go for here. And as their final ban, what do they get rid of? There is still the Elder Titan, but he's not really a frontline. And they're just going to end up getting rid of the Timber Saw, just to avoid having too many annoying ways to clear out illusions. Especially with the new Timber Saw Ags. If he gets some substantial farm, he clears Naga Siren illusions all game. Absolutely no problem. And the tanky frontliner for LAI is actually going to end up being an Axe. We just saw Axe in the previous game between, who was it? It was Speed and LGD. Speed picked it up as their last pick. Fell a little bit flat on its face, unfortunately. Axe died in the jungle by himself, slowed down his own Blink Dagger a little bit. The first uses of the Blink were not all that spectacular. LGD already had a bunch of momentum rolling, and yeah, that was pretty much it. So Invictus Gaming, how they're gonna wrap things up, just ends up being an Enchantress, so looks like that is going to put the Tidehunter on the off lane, Puck heading towards mid, and looks like the Naga Siren is going to be up on the safe lane. So Luo's on support and Burning. You have to make space for the B-God. Looks like he's going to be your #1 position this game. So we'll have everybody grab their heroes very quickly, and we'll be able to jump ourselves in to the second best of 1 for the evening. Star Series 11. Are we really up to 11 already? It feels like just the other day that I was casting Star Series 5, but you know, boy does time fly. So Star Series 11, China groups, IG versus LAI. Let's jump into it. We've got June on Tidehunter heading towards the offlane, double tango. Very standard these days. We've got Burning actually handling the mid lane on his Naga Siren. Couple of pooled tangos, eco build, bottle rush for him. Chizbug with some boots first, rumbling out on the Ogre Mega. We've got Ferrari making his way topside on the Puck, and finally, last but certainly not least, we have Luo or C on the Enchantress. Once again, for those of you just tuning in, Chuan is not currently playing with the squad because he's going to be away in the US coming up pretty soon. So looks like they're just giving Burning most of the games and trying to get him situated as much as possible. I think IG would like to come out on top of this group stage if they possibly can. And speaking of group stages, they are currently 0 and 1. I think LAI are 1 and 3. So both of these teams are battling to really stay away from the bottom of the board right now. Meanwhile, over on LAI, we have XZ on Axe. We have Super on Ancient Apparition. We've got 5400 zooming his way around on the Skywrath Mage. We've got XTT heading towards mid as Ember Spirit. And finally, XDD is going to be your safe lane Slark. Battle for Zirman Urns coming up in just a second. Axe, not too busy. He's got plenty of time. He's got a jungle or an off lane to get to, so he's going to grab that haste and zoom his way up. We've already got a Dire Observer Ward waiting in the lane for him, so we'll be keeping an eye on this early attempted creep steal from the Axe, trying to make full use of this haste turn. as much as possible. Spin already coming out. Ferrari gonna eat a couple of those. Still hesitant to skill anything up. Go for the orb or the phase shift. Just gonna tango a tree and, well, say farewell to his creeps as he welcomes the Radiant creeps underneath the tower. Meanwhile, Luo, actually some aggressive jungling coming out of him. Spot super trying to make his way up the hill, but just gonna be one icy auto attack to send him packing. And how is this middle lane going so far? XTD 200k sneaks the deny just under the nose of Burning there. Meanwhile, Chizbug has made his way topside just to help out Ferrari so it doesn't have to tank too much underneath the tower. It's actually very annoying for a hero only starting with a single set of regen to get creep skip like this. So actually not too bad a way for LAI to force these IG supports back up to the top lane. I don't think they were going to run aggressive, but they could have looked to set up some ganks down on this bottom lane. But yeah, with the Axe creep skipping up here, Chizbug and Luo are both going to have to come back, and that's going to mean pretty standard lanes for the time being. I think that's Burning's bottle just getting shipped out to him right now. It is in fact XZ making his way across right now. Does need to be a little bit careful. No vision up on this lane for him, so if we switch it over to Radiant Vision, this is completely dark. He has no idea whatsoever of where the Enchantress is, and that could very well be his undoing. He's all the way up in the lane. He's got some Radiant creeps backing him up. We've got double Centaurs rotating in, and I think this could be the end of XZ. Gets the call down. There's the stun. First stomp coming in. Here comes the second stomp. Luo's got the micro, and he's got the first blood. Way too easy. And just, I don't know. Maybe the Axe thought that the Enchantress was still down in the Radiant jungle because Super saw her there earlier, but I think you have to play that just a little bit more defensively. So Enchantress off to a good start, but all three LAI gaming cores getting some good CS in their own right. Super running a couple of pulls and pull-throughs at the moment, so things looking good there for him. And Luo and Chizbug not done with the kills. Going to be looking for more action here on this middle lane. XCT harassed low. Stun comes out. He does have the shield. They have to get this Centaur around in position, but Burning's got the net ready to go for that one. Double damage popped off, and that's going to be another very quick kill coming out of IG here in the early game, showing why Enchantress was such a prioritized hero for such a long time. I think these days she's a little bit unimpressive, perhaps in a slightly better spot than Chen, but still super dependent on her early game and not the most... I mean, she does scale well, but the problem for Enchantress in general is finding the farm. Most teams are running multiple cores these days that are good at farming the jungle, and in that case, Enchantress just kind of doesn't have a place to be during the mid game. Sure, she can go and farm a lane, but you know, it's not really her strength, though. Her jungle farm is also somewhat unimpressive. Having to dominate a creep means that you're losing a big chunk of the golden experience from pretty much every other camp. But yeah. Luo definitely making it work. He's got those boots, he's got level 2, and just needs to find a few more lucky creeps to actually get some successful ganks down. He's sending an annoying Wild Wing towards mid lane right now, but I don't think it should be too much of a problem and shouldn't tip the balance too much. If you ask any mid laner, you know, the Whirlwind or the Harpy is very, very annoying, but I don't know if it actually has that much of an impact on the lane overall. Maybe it tips things one way or the other by 10 creeps or something like that. Next TT, Searing Chains out onto 2, stun comes in, there's the call. XC trying to buy some space here. He's focusing on Luo, he needs some more spins, but everyone on IG will not oblige him. No auto attacks coming out. The Tornado has actually made its way in here. Burning with the illusions coming in, couple more auto attacks, all it's going to take, and Luo actually snags another kill for himself there. The Tornado finishing the last hit. Unfortunately, Axe, after the call's used, if you just ignore him, not a heck of a lot of damage coming out. So that's a 3-0 lead so far for IG, and definitely not the start that LAI were looking for here on this Ember Spirit. I mean, Ember Spirit as a hero is kind of snowbally to begin with. Burning already level 6. Very conservative skill build here, and I have to say that I'm actually a really big fan. So many Naga Sirens try and squeak out, you know, a couple more creeps, a 30-second faster Radiance timing by just maxing out Riptide and Mirror Images, but Burning feeling a little bit exposed here on the Dire mid lane. Picks up the Ensnare not only to help the Enchantress rotations and help to pick up kills, but also grabs the Song of the Siren immediately, knowing that the Skywrath Mage or the Ancient Apparition could be looking for early ganks comboing up with the Ember Spirit. So it is the Song of the Siren used, and he may die within the next 2 minutes, but you know, I think well worth it to dodge at least that one gank, and it does show that he's being a little bit more cautious on mid. There's also a fresh Dire Ward planted down here to try and spot any feature ganks, so should hopefully be able to get that Song of the Siren back off cooldown. Luo a little bit starved on levels for the time being, but level 3 in 6 minutes not too bad, especially given that he's participated in 3 kills. What's going on with June? Almost level 4 on the off lane. Got the slow out onto XZ. Ferrari does have the coil, drops it down. 5400 looking for the counter initiation. Concussive shot comes out on the Chizbug, and while he's tanking the tower aggro, nobody's dying too quickly. That 11 armor ogre. Tranquil Boots already up. So, an unsuccessful go on top for IG, but I don't think they're going to be too disappointed with that. Meanwhile, XTD, what's the build for him? It's going to be a Hand of Midas. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of this build on Slark. I think you need to get your stat items up and then go for your Blink or your Shadow Blade as fast as possible. 5400 actually going to silence the Centaur here to try and get away. And looks like that might actually be successful for him. The Sable's already used. We've got the triple Remnant coming out of XCT. Blows up the Enchantress immediately. That's a nice kill so far, and Chizbug next on the list. Still getting burned down. This Flame Guard has a couple of seconds remaining. That's a double kill there, and XZ... well, can he get out of here? We've got the Stomp at the ready from the Centaur. Orb comes out of Ferrari, and IG do manage to find some semblance of a turnaround on the offline Axe, but 2 very nice kills going to get XTT back into a much more reasonable position. That's how much gold going his way? Another 600 gold for him, definitely not too shabby. Fortunately for IG, Burning doesn't end up going down there, but yeah, still another stumbling block for the Enchantress, who still really needs some levels. I think Ancients may have been blocked out before, or June thought that he was getting enough in the lane to not bother going for it. XZ has actually made his way all the way down to bot. If they don't get this kill, this is a pretty costly rotation from the Axe. They miss the pounce. June just has to try and run his way out of here. There is going to be a call from XZ coming out in just a second. Doesn't get that one either. June jumping into the side of the trees here. Now the counter initiation comes out. The very squishy Slark, only some stick charges, is going to be able to pounce away. No mana left on Chizbug. Still charging forward aggressively, but they're not going to find any kills. It looks like Chizbug maybe TP'd first, which was probably a slight misplay because Ferrari had Orb, Coil, and Silence ready. So if he's the first one to land in the lane, I think maybe they get a kill, or at least it gives them a slightly better chance. No Ravage on Tidehunter does make life a little bit more difficult, however. This Invis Rune was not scouted on bottom lane, so Ferrari might still be able to get this kill. Stun, holds it, silence, max duration. Not going to drop the coil, I think, realizing that they're not getting this kill. Not enough burst damage. Perhaps if the shield hadn't been up, then XCT could have been bursted, but yeah, no such luck there. 5400 kills off a Satyr behind the tier 1 tower on top, but I think he's dead as a result. Ferrari rounds the corner, the slow comes out, there's the stun. 5400 doing his best to get at least a little bit of return damage, but that's going to be another kill going the way of Luo. And a very crucial level 5 for him at the same time. So getting close to having that impetus and getting close to continuing to rotate around. XCT jumps in aggressively on Burning on the mid lane. It was only the one Remnant used, so Burning does need to be a little bit careful. The follow-up could still come in here. Chizbug is waiting off to the side. In comes the chains. Burning. Side of Fist damage. In comes the second Remnant. Yeah, he did have to play a little bit more defensively there. XTT trying to phase boot his way back down towards bottom rune. Just trying to find a way out of this. Chizbug, unbroken Tranquil Boot's gonna come up the hill. Can he stun this one in time? Oh, Ravage also dropped!
It's over.
Ember Spirit is gonna get splattered all across the secret shop. And down he'll go. But I think still a pretty worthwhile life for him. He got the kill on the Naga Siren. He didn't manage to shop up anything, unfortunately, it looks like, but got the kill on the Naga and managed to burn a Ravage all in one life. You can't ask for much more out of your Ember Spirit. As we pass 10 minutes, let's have a quick look at our net worth. Ember up there along with the Slark, who's now starting to get those stat items going for himself. Skywrath Mage grabs a bounty, and we'll be getting pretty close to level 6, so got some Mystic Flare ganks coming up before too long, and Burning, for anyone wondering about that relic timing, sitting at 1600 gold, for the time being. The max mirror image is coming up pretty soon, along with max Riptide, so the farm speed will accelerate for him pretty soon, but I don't think he's under too much pressure, honestly. LAI don't have a whole lot of tower push. They do have a bunch of pickoff, but I don't even think that pickoff necessarily translates into IG losing map control. So I think the Naga Siren Radiance is an inevitability at this, even at this early stage of the game. I mean, we're 11 minutes in and I'm already calling the Radiance as a guarantee, but that's just kind of the way it feels, the way that this game is developing. 5400 with that early, well, not the early level 6, but now that he has that level 6 up, is going to go for a smoke with the Ember. Making their way topside, looking for some kills. Jumping in aggressively towards Lua. There is this stun creep available. Centaur comes out. The heal as well. He's got 10 stick charges. Surviving through this one. The Mystic Flare drops him down a little bit lower. Sounds comes out of the Chizbug, but Ferrari ready with the 2-hero coil. The Ice Blast wildly off the mark. 5400, a couple more auto attacks to bring him down. Fortunately, the Ember Spirit does manage to TP away, but burst damage combo not quite there perfectly. They needed the Mystic Flare to rain down right as the Searing Chains came out, but didn't happen. Lua got the heal off, nice Centaur Stomp as well, and that's going to be a very easy turnaround kill for them. So, taking a look at it, IG now just barely in the lead on experience as we plunge back past 0, and about a 1k net worth lead as well. So things still very even for the early game, but the one thing that you do have to keep in mind is that 2k of Slark's net worth isn't really doing a whole lot for him right now. He does scale very well with attack speed, don't get me wrong, but the Midas isn't really helping him kill anyone for the time being, and still needs to get that mobility item before he can really look to get some successful pickoffs. I mean, while mid lane's going to be freed up for June to get a bit closer to his blink as Birding rotates over into the jungle, so they're not making full use of bottom lane right now, but I don't think they're all too concerned. I think Chizbug and Lua would rather look for another gank or a push on this top tier 1 tower, as opposed to sending somebody down bot just to soak up some experience. Speaking of soaking experience, Super also getting a lane to himself for a little while, so that he can grab up that level 6. We already saw the first Ice Blast making its way top lane earlier, and we've got a drum picked up for the Ember. So this early game stat items are coming up for the Ember and the Slark, and hopefully, for LAI Gaming's sake, they'll be able to start getting some ganks and pickoffs going pretty soon. And Ferrari has his Blink. Blink, Phase Boots, Bottle, safe lane puck, no real doubts about him finding his farm, and 1, 0, and 3 as well for Ferrari at this stage, so things looking good for him. And Super, is it actually going to be an Ags rush? I'd like to see an Urn picked up, personally, but early Aghanim Scepter could work pretty nicely this game. We do have the Blink Dagger up on Axe, so XZ might be able to move around with the Skywrath Mage and start looking for some kills. I talked about it in the previous game, and I think the point still stands here, is that Axe is a pretty snowball-y hero, and if these first couple of ganks aren't successful, then he could be in a world of hurt. Chizbug being shown on the middle lane, but the counter initiation is at the ready. Ferrari comes in, they've got the Ravage, they've got the Silence, holding onto the coil for now. XZ, a guaranteed kill. XDT jumps back to the Remnant. We've got the Ice Blast flying in. It might be a re-engage for LAI Gaming. XCD coming in aggressively. XCT looks for the combo, gets it out onto June. The pounce is dodged, however, will still be brought down by one more nuke from the sky, along with the Dark Pact. Last did actually go to the Slark. So, 2 for 1, not too bad. Axe, I think, actually stuck around for the experience on the first kill, so still keeping up on the levels. And that's a Ravaging Coil used for only 1 hero, so things open up a little bit more for LAI to keep looking for these aggressive pickoffs, and now they don't have to worry about the counter initiation potential. Also, the Tide dying, pretty big deal. Blink Dagger gonna take just that little bit longer for June. No, there is a little ancient stack waiting for him at the moment. Yeah, it looks like Ferrari might be a good guy, or Lua's going to be a good guy and stack up these Ancients one more time. But one person that we've not been thinking about for the last couple of minutes, especially if you LAI, is this burning Naga Siren, but well, he's soon going to remind you of what's up, as that Relic is actually coming out right now. 5400 trying to retreat over to the pit, hoping for a graceful death. Actually going to try for a turnaround here. Drops the Mystic Flare. We have a pause coming out of Super at the same time. Looks like we've got some issues happening here. Do they choose to fight? Ember's a little bit low on mana, but he's got 2 sips. XZ is low on health. I think they just have to let this one go. And yeah, Lua's gonna tank through that. No problem whatsoever. Ice Blast is fishing for him. Looks like it will connect. I don't think it'll be enough to push him down. Super gets coiled on the middle lane as well. Looks like he'll be the next casualty of war here. Chizbug gets chopped down. There's the dunk from XZ jumping in for a drive-by. June still fighting through here. Got another nice Searing Chains combo coming out of XCT as they find one more kill, and the turnaround is actually 2 for 2 as LAI Gaming come in there with multiple heroes and do manage to get out. But the ping comes out from Axe, and he says, look at Burning's inventory. He's got his relic up. We gotta stop this guy right here, right now. 5400 already up here, but already knows that he's been spotted by a Dire Observer Ward, so this gank's not gonna work, and Burning is just gonna back off right into the jungle. Tier 1 tower taken down by XCT on mid. Still keeping himself up and relevant among the top farmers right now, as the map actually goes a little bit dark for IG. That ward got dewarded on top, and also down by the bottom rune, so they're gonna have to get that next set of wards out and re-establish the map control. How long is that? Only 10 seconds away, so it's not too long in the dark for IG, and the lights will be turning on very, very soon. XZ and 5400 looking for this solo pickoff on the Naga Siren. Can they get it? Out comes the Mystic Flare. Ice Blast coming in as well. They chop one down. Can we get a counter initiation out of IG? Ferrari, I think, not realizing that his Blink Dagger was cancelled by the Ice Blast, ends up whiffing the silence. They still come in on XZ and will be able to clean him up. So 1 for 1. Burning's Radiance slowed down just a little bit. And some space created for bottom lane as well, where XCT is looking for this tier 1 tower. More TPs coming in as well. Ferrari at the ready. Looks like it's going to be straight into a Yule Scepter for him, perhaps. And what can they do here? Jun's got Ravage. He doesn't want to die because he's almost got his Blink Dagger up. And he doesn't know where everyone on LAI is. He knows that Axe is dead, but everyone else is off the map right now. And there could be an Ice Blast ready. So he doesn't want to play too aggressively. And yeah, just gonna grab his farm, secure his Blink or his Mech or his Force Staff, whatever he's going for here. And looks like IG, they've got a smoke on the Enchantress, just gonna try and make some more space while Burning continues to farm up. A couple more minutes for him to grab that Radiance. And it is wow, this is so greedy from the Radiant. They've got a Midas Ancient Apparition, we've got a Midas Slark. Slark does have his Blink Dagger up now, but pretty greedy on the whole. Ferrari getting absolutely blown up on the middle lane. Not even time for a dunk, as everything gets thrown at him there. Ice Blast, Mystic Flare, yeah, you name it, they used it. Everyone else in IG just kind of defending Burning for the time being. A couple hundred gold to go for the Ratty XDD. Just trying to rat out this tier 1 tower on top. He is going to get it. One more auto attack seals the deal. And well, IG have not thought to check up on this cliff. I guess they must be at least a little bit suspicious about how Burning died earlier, since they placed the sentry over here, but they don't realize exactly what's going on. And oh, unfortunately, IG going to lose their Ancient stack here. June waiting a bit too long to clear it, and that's going to be some nice farm for the Ember Spirit and the Axe. Actually, a really important farm for the Axe as well, given that he's died in pretty much every clash that they've had, aside from that gank on mid lane. So Blade Mail coming out for him. We've got the Battle Fury coming out for the Ember Spirit, and we've got a Smoke Gank coming out for IG. Lua not quite level 11 just yet, actually just kind of languishing at level 9 for the time being. Radiance is online for the Naga Siren, so now the split push and farm can truly begin, and Burning should very quickly ascend to his throne at the top of the net worth charts. 5400, doesn't know quite how much danger he's in right now. June spots him out. Now we've got the Blink forward, Silence with the multicast, blows up the Scareth Mage. Now it's just up to IG to try and get out of here. Well, at least so they think. XCT and Super are actually all the way down on bottom lane, and XCD is running the rounds on top. Gonna put some pressure on Burning here. There is a Song of the Siren available. Can we get some counter initiation out? First to TP, it's actually gonna be Enchantress, unfortunately. And looks like that is not gonna be enough for a kill. Ferrari, no TP. Chizbug had a TP. June, no TP. So I think the only person that TP's there and gets a kill is Ferrari, and unfortunately looks like his was on cooldown. Yeah, he's actually getting one delivered right as I say that. Let's see if it's on cooldown. No. So, Burning, gonna head back to the fountain. We've got that Battle Fury picked up for the Ember Spirit, so farm can start to accelerate for him a little bit. Ferrari jumps in, grabs the Illusion Rune, pops it off. Illusions immediately die, and back to the orb he goes. So good defensive play there. And Skywrath Mage just wants to keep hounding Burning as much as he can. We've got the Blade Mail up for Axe, so that's going to make this gank just a little bit easier. This Observer Ward is still waiting up on the cliff, so Luo's being spotted. Burning's going to be spotted in just a sec, but what they might not realize is that the rest of the Dire Cavalry is waiting just behind them. XCD fishing for wards. Uncompletely intended. As they come up here. And that Ice Blast, yeah, a bit of a clue that there's a ward up on this cliff, but it's only got a couple of seconds of duration left, so a little bit unfortunate there for IG. Actually, really nice warding out of LAI. They've got all their lanes covered, somewhat unconventional wards, you know, just sort of jamming them right in the middle of the lane, but helps them spot TPs to towers, and that means that they can spot a lot of these smoke rotations at the same time. The three-man squad, I think, just waiting around for the Ice Blast before they consider jumping in on top lane. So long as the Skywrath Mage doesn't commit too heavily, they only really risk the Axe. So if they see an opportunity to trade Axe for Naga Siren, I think they go for it. But IG right now are all just holding Burning's hand. XTD with the Pound's Shadow Dance blink away, straight into a TP. No risks taken whatsoever there. But they did manage to draw all of LAI top lane. And that's going to open things up for XCT to split push down on bot. So while that didn't look like a very successful time for three heroes to be sitting up on top, they still accomplished a lot, and drawing the fire of 5 heroes I think is definitely worth it. XCT, can he get out of here? He's getting bursted, but still manages to jump back. He's got the dot on him from the Ogre, and that's actually going to be enough to finish him off. 317 gold going Chizbug's way, and the tower ends up being denied. That was very unfortunate for XTT, but stuck around just a little bit too long. Meanwhile, Radiant Illusions pressuring mid lane, Radiant Illusions pressuring top. June getting caught out by the Axe. Mystic Flare into a dunk, easy peasy. LAI not getting the hero that they were really looking for in Burning, but still going to take the consolation prize all the same. And Burning with the full rat build, Radiant's Boots of Travel, he is not showing any interest in fighting until he is 4 or 5 slotted right now. XCD with some straight up pings on the Dire Observer Ward, keeping his supports up to date with where he's being spotted. Meanwhile, this Observer Ward down bottom actually got half dewarded, but looks like that was not finished off by IG. Not quite sure how that one happened, but we can only speculate. And BKB completed now for XCD. Chizbug considers going for the stun, but realizing that he's just going to regen up and Dark Pact it off, there's not a whole lot of point. May as well just hold on to the mana. Actually, XCD jumps in really aggressively here. He's got the Dark Pact along with the ultimate. Fortunately, Fast Fingers will get him back over the tree line and into safety, but a very aggressive pounce there. Meanwhile, Burning being caught out. He's got the Song of the Siren. Ice Blast won't be able to connect there. Just a straight TP back to the fountain for him. Luo, I think it needs to be the same story. Gonna take this opportunity to place an aggressive ward and then likely TP his way out of here. He's got another ward just off to the side as well. So he has an idea of what the LAI are up to, and well, he's not only going to be cheeky and place a ward, but he's also going to be cheeky and steal a little bit of farm here. Meanwhile, the rest of IG has come to pick him up, so looks like he's not going to need to use his TP scroll here. XZ and 5400 realizing somewhat that IG may consider pressuring this bottom lane, but the gank squad has actually made its way over to mid. Radiant Vision somewhat lacking over on the eastern quadrant, and that does mean that they might be caught out here. It is a very suspicious map if you're LAI Gaming. Nobody's farming bot, there's a Radiance Illusion mid, nobody's farming top or trying to stop the Slark, so your immediate suspicion is something is going on, and yeah, the Ice Blast solves the mystery. IG were just waiting over in the trees, and no one on LAI ends up being caught, so just good map awareness overall, keeping them safe there. And it does open things up for the Slark to push things all the way up on this top lane. Still unseated on top of the net worth, though Burning is starting to pick up the pace little by little. Yasha already up in the inventory. And his team pretty much just allocating all of this farm to him. The whole jungle, 2 lanes, whatever Burning wants, he gets. And well, everyone else is rummaging for scraps down in the Radiant jungle right now. But the Yule's completed for Ferrari, also a gem handed to him by the Enchantress. XZ clearing out some camps, almost gets caught, but fortunately gets out of there quickly enough. Looks like we've got LAI Gaming perhaps grouping up for a smoke. Super getting close to that Aghanim Scepter. Still 2 components away, but a jump in Ravage. Catches on 3, can actually burst anybody down. Ferrari jumps in with the blink. Needs to use the orb to get a little bit closer, but now he doesn't have a disengage. Playing this more defensively. June, only one way to get out of these trees, and that's straight back towards his team. Chizbug gets caught by the blink and the pounce. There is a nice little bit of micro, the Dark Troll Summoner, keeping the Slark locked down for a little bit, but it's not going to be enough. Chizbug brought down 2 for 1 the exchange. And the Ravage ends up being used. Ferrari, you could just see that he had all of these trepidations about jumping to the orb and fully committing to that fight. Because he'd used the blink, he used the orb to get that little bit closer, and realizing that, man, this is really close to a tier 2 tower and the entire LAI Gaming side. Maybe we should reconsider this one. So I think smart play on his part, and the biggest problem was really just the initiation. Luo has stolen a creep and he's jammed himself down in some trees right now, so the Satyr Tormentor along with the ward's going to keep things scouting out. We're going to smoke on this courier, but Radiant's Illusion very quickly spots that one, and 5400 just sends it hacking back towards the fountain. They're not going to be using that smoke, at least right now. And more TPs bottom lane. Could be a bit of a skirmish about to break out. We've actually got the Skywrath Mage brought down by Ferrari, who jumps in. XZ's still around here. We've got the Searing Chains on Burning, but he does still have a Song of the Siren. Just gonna sidestep the Ice Blast right now, as Axe is also charging in, looking for a catch. Meanwhile, in middle lane, XTD jumps in on top of Tidehunter, but he's a little bit too tanky to be brought down here. They need this silence. Are gonna get it, but he gets into the Shadow Dance beforehand. BKB pops, trying to block this next retreat pounce, but will make it up onto the high ground. Super also waiting there for him. And looks like everyone's gonna be okay. Luo finally TPing out of the Radiant jungle and will be rejoining his team. And how is that farm going for Burning? Well, he's on top. He is #1. And I think he's gonna be there for quite some time. XD is just working on a Basher. XTT is working on a BKB. Super is buying wards, so unfortunately that Aghanim Scepter is still going to take a little bit longer. Of course, he could sell his Midas if he desperately needs the Ags for a defense, but he's probably just going to keep the gold hand ticking away for a little bit longer. Big 4-man smoke from LAI. They've got the Slark a little bit further away, and still with 20 seconds on cooldown for his BKB. Ferrari manages to heal himself as the initiation comes out. Here comes the counter initiation. It's the Ravage. Is there a coil? It's still available. Throws it out. Now XCT already down. Luo tanking the Slark auto attacks at the moment. Buyback from Axe wants to rejoin the fight. Chizbug attempts the body blocks. XD down onto the low ground. We've got a dunk out from XZ as he does find Ferrari over towards the secret shop of Burning, and June still giving him the runaround. Chizbug now joins the fight, and one more auto attack from Luo helps to seal the deal. They do end up losing Burning as XCD going hard. That BKB finally off cooldown, but realizing that he's outgunned, tries to leap away to the tier 2. Dark Pact will get him a little bit further away, but the Urn Charge needs to get out of vision into the trees. June, is his Blink Dagger available soon? It is, but he's going to have to use it to retreat. We've got respawns coming up from LAI in just a couple of seconds time, and there's a tier 1 tower and a tier 2 pincering them. So the Slark escapes, gets his Basher, but overall, still a pretty good fight for IG. They brought down the Axe twice, 3 heroes dead, and all of that from fast fingers really from Ferrari. He got jumped by 4 heroes, managed to get the Yules off. I guess the Axe wasn't able to lead with the call. They just got the silence Mystic Flare, maybe a Searing Chains. So manages to Yules himself and manages to turn that one around. Also, of course, really nice Ravage out of June, but you know, it's got a pretty big AoE. Anyone on your screen is getting hit, so we won't congratulate him too much. Meanwhile, Naga has her Manta Style complete, so get some more items coming up before too long. That BKB is almost up for the Ember. as he tries to be a bit cheeky and steal some more of the Dire farm. This is actually something really nice about, you know, about heroes like Ember Spirit and Slark. They're elusive enough that you can, that you can steal at least part of the enemy team's jungle and free up your own jungle for your team. I mean, at the moment we've kind of got heroes like that on both sides, so we just kind of end up splitting things down the middle. The easternmost 3 camps of the Radiant jungle belong to IG most of the time, and the westernmost 2 camps of the Dire jungle belong to LAI a lot of the time. Ferrari actually gets jumped down at the bottom rune. Looks like going up that hill a little bit blind and just gets exploded. Yeah, just called by Axe and Mystic flared down. Sorry about that one, guys. What else have we got going on? Pipe on the Tidehunter. Anything else item-wise? Luo working towards his Aghanim Scepter, but he's still going to take a little while to get there. We've got that BKB completed for the Ember. How is the Aghanim Scepter going for the Ancient Apparition? Just 1 component away. And that's pretty much it for items at the moment. A couple of wards being placed down by the Radiant here and there. Just keeping eyes on everything. We've got an Ice Blast making its way top. XCD probably going to jump in on this one. Looking for the kill on Chizbug. He's tanky, but I don't think he's tanky enough. XCD not expending the ultimate or the BKB, gets stunned up. It looks like that might actually be enough for Chizbug to survive here. Pipe gets popped off. That's going to ensure it. If XCD had used either of his BKB or his Shadow Dance, I think he definitely gets that kill, but trying to be conservative for any counter initiation. So, Chizbug lives to fight another day. And with Tranquil Boots, he doesn't even have to go back to base. He's back up and running. 19.3 regen a second. Very quickly making his way down bot. Ferrari just farming up and looking for a Hex. Burning. Hasn't shown exactly what his next item is going to be, but I'm anticipating probably a Heart. There is quite a bit of AoE damage and an AoE clear on LAI. XCT comes in aggressively mid. He's just looking for that Song of the Siren to be used. Doesn't have any real threat of killing Burning, and Burning calls his bluff, doesn't use it. Realizes that his team is right behind him if anything's going to happen. So we just got 2 teams farming away. Haven't looked at the net worth for a while, but it's still pretty close. About a 2,500 lead for LAI, about 7,500 experience as well. This is the one downside a bit of Naga Siren, is that she's taking a lot of farm, but there's a lot of experience that's not being taken. At best, she's either in the lane or the jungle or on mid lane with her hero, but her illusions are clearing creep camps and creeps everywhere. So unfortunately, the rest of the team only has a little bit of the map left to grab experience, unless they're split up and farming along with the illusions. So yeah, they are naturally going to fall behind a little bit on levels. Tidehunter almost has level 16, so that rank 3 Ravage coming up before too long. Axe is also working on a BKB right now. We've actually got an Abyssal Blade completed for the Slark, so tons of burst damage and lots of pickoff now for XCD. You can see that he's really set in what his game plan is in this game. He's looking to keep top lane pushed in as much as possible. He's looking to steal as many of the Dire creep camps as he can while staying safe, and he's just looking to get pickoffs with the Blink Dagger and the Ice Blast. He hasn't really been moving with the Skywrath and the Axe. They're kind of a separate pair that are doing their own thing, and he's just kind of trying to nullify this Naga Siren split push on the top side. As I say that, this creep wave almost gets completely annihilated by an illusion, but he's at least keeping the momentum, or keeping the lane equilibrium pushed all the way up underneath the tier 2. IG grouping up over by Roshan are going to go for a 4-hero smoke. Burning still peeling illusions off around the place, as we've actually got LAI bringing 4 heroes down the middle lane. This could be a big initiation. There is a potential BKB from XCT. The slow leads. Ferrari jumps in aggressively, but he gets silenced immediately. XCT gets the call out onto 2. In comes the Ember Spirits, and down goes 1 chop. 2 immediately lost from IG. Ferrari not dropping too much of his combo. Luo now isolated by the Slark on the back lines. Not doing too much burst damage. Burning comes in with the song to put an end to the fight, and that is going to be a 2-for-1 exchange, though XTT is still hunting for more. Luo throws out the slow. He needs to get chains before he can attempt the TP out. Gonna juke over into the trees and look for it, but there's the chains, and that's gonna be an easy kill for the Ember Spirit there. So 3-for-1 overall. And I think the biggest problem there for IG was leading with the slow. it gave LAI the opportunity to turn around, claim this position on the high ground. Ravage did end up going off, but the rest of IG was trapped all the way back over here. Ends up not being the best trade. Burning still getting close to that heart, but teamfight's definitely not going the way that IG were hoping for with this Puck and the Tidehunter. And with Ravage on cooldown, easy opportunity for LAI Gaming to push in and secure this tier 2 for themselves. Last hit going to be passed over to the Axes. He's now looking a bit more respectable in terms of the overall fun. June has an Oblivion Staff, so he's looking for a Refresher Orb. Dire Vision is pretty good, but they have lost control over the Radiant jungle for the most part, and Radiant are just about to re-establish some new wards, so we'll see how far out onto the map they can make it. I haven't checked in on smokes just yet. We're about a minute away from the next Radiant smoke. None left in inventories and none on the courier. And for the Dire, we have one smoke in stock, none in inventories, and none on the courier. So pretty much one smoke against one smoke. Both teams have been pretty active with them this game, though. IG using more 4-man smokes, and LAI tending to use them more for 2 hero pickoffs when they can find them. Super does have his Aghanim Scepter up and ready to go, so the pickoff power will continue to mount for LAI. We've got a Vlad's picked up for XZ, just helping out his team as much as he possibly can, buffing up the Slark's damage. Do you have a catch on bottom? Nope. Just burning down here, grabbing some extra farm. Chizbug and Ferrari getting buffed up. And this Enchantress is just not done all that much. I think Enchantress touched on it during the early game, so about 30 minutes ago. She kind of lacks a role. There's nothing really that Luo has done wrong this game. He's 4-2-6. He got the first blood and the next 2 kills, or at least set up the next 2 kills in the very early stages of the game, but towers are not worth nearly as much, so the pushing aspect of Enchantress is nowhere near as impressive. And as I touched on earlier, when you've got heroes who want to use the jungle even more efficiently than the Enchantress, it becomes a little bit difficult to justify picking her and letting her get good farm. Still healing up here, but XCT and XCD will very quickly put an end to the Enchantress there. XCD, I think, for the first time showing off that shiny new Abyssal Blade of his. So it looks like it's up to IG to just keep, well, up to Burning to keep playing the rat game, and hopefully the pressure will make enough space for the Puck and the Tidehunter to start picking up these items like the Refresher and Hex. Ferrari's actually very close to his Hex. Yeah, misses the orb somewhat there, but still okay. I think he's got it right now. LAI are actually just gonna head straight into Roshan. I know that this hasn't been spotted. Slark Shadow Dance was not deactivated this entire time, but looks like IG still know. Nice Vortex thrown over the top of the cliff, threatening the initiation.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And a bit of a stalemate as Naga Illusions will just keep pressing. Poor 5400. He's not having the best time with all this Radiance nonsense. He might actually die here. Is there Riptide available? Riptide? Yep, he's dead. Okay. There you go. And it's a big smoke coming out of IG. 2 heroes isolated on bottom lane. They really can't afford to push forward aggressively here. There's the Hex. They need the chain silence. In comes the jump. The Ravage goes out, but they don't get the silence in time. Ravage also not landing. June really wasting that one. In comes a nice Ice Blast. 3 Remnant Burst out of XCT. That's an immediate killing spree for him. And now all IG can do is run for the hills. Chizbug gets his TP cancelled. Burning wasn't there quite in time. And with that Aghanim's Ice Blast, I think Chizbug is still dead. Burning the only one to escape. And that's a double kill for XCT as LAI looks straight towards the Roshan pit. Gonna clean that one up very, very soon. And there's nothing that IG can do. They dropped all of their teamfight ultimates on just Slark, who didn't die. I think that's the worst part of that last engagement. And
Roshan
With
has
that,
fallen to the Radiant.
Aegis Daedalus on the Ember Spirit. 3 of the top 4 farmers are on LAI Gaming, and I'm starting to have my doubts about how much Burning can do. He does have his Diffusal up, so his damage is looking pretty good. Actually mauls down
Dire's
XZ
top
on mid
tower
lane
is under attack.
with, I think, a pack of 3 illusions there, but the rest of LAI will press on, get this mid lane pushed in, top lane pushing in at the same time, and IG, quite frankly, just looking a little bit lost. Enchantress doesn't really have a place to go at the moment, so she's just gonna chill around in the base. Chizbug
Dire's top
has
tower
grabbed himself
is
a
under
Force
attack.
Staff, but I don't know how much it's gonna do, and Refresher Orb still an eternity away for June here.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And it's perhaps a little bit too early to be talking about it, but the Nagasaran only has so many slots remaining. I mean, at this stage, it's pretty much just a butterfly for the bottle, and that's about it. And LAI are dealing with it just fine. We've got more items coming out for the Slark pretty
Radiant's middle
soon. That's
tower is under
probably...
attack.
Yeah, so Maelstrom coming out. Right now, just wants the Mjolnir to help clear out the illusions. Definitely nice to have to throw on the axe as well, so I'm on board with the pickup here. And meanwhile, IG just not a whole lot of vision, nobody under the wards. Just gonna send some illusions out and stay grouped up for the time being. The beauty of the Ember Spirit, as ever, is that he can deal with split push and still come back and join his team with the Remnant. And the illusions are prodding and poking away at these LAI supports, tenderizing them a bit before the next fight, but that's an easy tier 2 tower taken by LAI, and is this Death Ball going to stop burning? Already pinging this out, he could lead the initiation with a Song of the Siren. We've got 5400 blinking forward aggressively to try and place a ward. Call comes out on just some illusions, burning, chipping and poking away as much as he possibly can. XCD needs to get back out of vision so he can heal himself up. Ferrari will try and clear out this bottom lane and at least make LAI reconsider pushing in on top. And looks like that's gonna be the call. We do have the Axe TPing back right now. So we will continue stalling, but it just keeps on leading to a bigger lead for LAI. They're actually up 30k experience and 10k gold. Where are all of those levels? You've got a level 24 Slark, a level 22 Ember Spirit, a level 20 Axe, and meanwhile the highest level on IG is actually Ferrari at 18. Burning is a surprisingly low level for his creep score. Let's just say that. 466 creeps on Burning right now, and still has so much room to grow, especially with the attributes. We're talking 2.3 strength per level and 2.75 agility as well. As much as the illusions are primarily about the Radiance burn and the Riptide damage and the Diffusal damage, that little bit of extra survivability does definitely go a long way. So looks like we're still going to be waiting around for a little bit longer. LAI do definitely want to make use of this Aegis, and they've only got about another minute and a half remaining, so they really got to get going right now. Luo's farming the Radiant jungle. June was farming up the Ancients for a little bit, trying to get that Refresher Orb done, and Burning's just keeping the lanes out as much as he possibly can. So IG realizing that they can't fight into the Aegis, they just have to stall. Looks like, unfortunately, Chizbug will be the unlucky winner this time around. XZ actually popping the BKB somewhat out of panic, I think, thinking that there could have been IG counter initiation just around the corner. Some more Radiance Illusion's gonna come in, super panics and just TP straight back to the fountain. 5400 will stand his ground and make his way back over to his teammates here. It looks like at this stage IG are fully committed to rat tactics, at least until this Aegis is out of the Ember Spirit's inventory, which it will be in just about 30 seconds time. And unfortunately, it looks like this is just the way things are gonna go. Enchantress still desperately trying to finish up that Aghanim Scepter. She's almost got it. Worth noting, about 200 gold to go. Ember has picked up his second Battle Fury, so If there are ever clumped up illusions, he's going to be dealing with those pretty easily, though I think burnings should be just fine to keep them split up. Meanwhile, XCD has that Mjolnir complete, so as we talked about, ready to throw that one onto the axe. They've got the jump in, they've got the Abyssal Blade on Ferrari, he gets dunked. Luo's gone already, double kill for the axe. Chizbug gets slowed down. And this is looking like it should be a high ground push for LAI. Super even coming off, oh, looks like he might make his way out of the Radiant side of the jungle, oh, Radiant side of the map for once, to join his team. IG respawns still relatively short. Bottom lane is actually their best opportunity. So that's where XZ and 5400 are going to be heading. XZ wants to push in mid lane just a little bit longer, but it is a bit low on mana, so needs to be careful about that. Arcane Boots waiting for him at bottom lane. 5400 telling him to hurry up and get over here. Tier 3 dropping quickly. And Glyph is going to be used right as LAI choose to disengage anyway, so not getting the best value out of that Glyph. Chizbug keeping things spammed out with that Ignite. XCT leading the charge, doesn't have the Searing Chains off cooldown, so won't be able to drop the combo there. XCD completely dry on mana. XZ dropping low pretty quickly. 5400 also pretty low. Song comes out from Burning, waiting for these respawns to come in. The Tidehunter should be the first one in here, but the Song is just a little bit too early. Can they catch XCD? He's out of mana, does have enough to get a pounce away. Swapping to those int treads. Chizbug still chasing, they want anything that they can get. Ferrari wanted the Hex, but XCT already popping off the BKB, jumps back defensively. Looks like he should be able to TP out. Luo won't be able to give the vision, and Ferrari looks like already using his blink to try and chase down into the river. Does spot XCD, there's the Hex, but there's just no follow-up, nobody in the neighborhood. He's gonna Yules him up, June coming in, there's the coil, pounces away. Is anyone at the ready to help out this Slark? Looks like the answer is no. And looks like they will manage to bring him down. 100 seconds dead. Mega kill streak also dropped. Unfortunately, kill goes to Ferrari, who's still a ways off completing another item. But IG do manage to hold the line. Little bit of damage taken, well, quite a bit of damage taken on the tier 3 tower after all is said and done. I think that is an Ags finished for the Enchantress just yet. Not quite. Luo almost has that. Meanwhile, Burning, what's he got? He's going to be picking up his Butterfly in just a second. Sending the Quarterstaff out. And Ferrari is going in for an Ags. Do we have that Refresher on the Tide? That is the other big question right now. Nope. Still a ways to go on that one. Invisarin picked up for Super. Ferrari scouting off to the side. Super's not going to spot him. Illusion Siege begins on bottom lane, fueled by the pipe. They know that the Slark is still down. Just trying to force out as much as they possibly can. Burning actually leading the charge with his hero here. He's only got Ferrari backing up. The rest of his team doesn't really want to be down here. June looks like he's begrudgingly going to come down into this... come down onto the low ground. XTT not going to spam out top lane again, realizes that he needs to be back down here to defend. They've got the glyph, still 10 seconds to go on the Slark, but Burning pops out those illusions, and all of them still looking very healthy. The next Sleight of Fist does clean things up, and as the Slark respawns, IG back off defensively. Still a hope alive for them in this game. They got 50% of the life on that tier 3 tower. Burning has his Butterfly now, and there's no MKBs in sight for LAI. Though XCT can grab one pretty soon. And Roshan respawning in about 1 minute and 20 seconds. Is that the Refresher Orb? Yep, pretty much. So long as Tide doesn't get chopped by Axe, then should be able to get that one off. I think we've got the Ags up for the Enchantress as well, almost level 16. So some very substantial teamfight pickups coming out for IG right now. I think worth, now that we have the Refresher up, to check in on BKB durations. 5-second BKB remaining for the Slark. We've got a 6-second BKB remaining for the Axe. And we've got a 6-second BKB remaining for the Ember Spirit. So, yeah, the double Ravage is starting to look a little bit more scary. Puck, of course, as well with the Hex. That's also increasing in value as those BKB durations continue to drop. Unfortunately, Burning doesn't have too much more room to grow, but we can always talk about your 8-9 slotted Naga Siren with Refresher Orb, Daedalus, Necrobook on a courier somewhere. ready to go. Even AC if things drag on too long. So we do actually have that MKB picked up for the Slark, and there should be one pretty soon for the Ember. So I guess he had the, I guess he must have already had the two javelins on the courier, and I didn't notice, guys. So apologies about that one. But looks like both teams just kind of chilling out until Roshan respawns. They're both aware XCD's in here, as is this Centaur. Gonna get Midas down by Super, getting that value. Got a Radiant Wards on just the final second, spotting out this IG rotation. I don't think they have a smoke, so they just have to go in here pretty much headlong. Taking Roshan against the Naga Siren is always going to be difficult. So we're going to enter into the Roshan dance, where we have one hero pushing up mid lane, we have somebody pushing at top, we have the rest just sitting out over by the jungle, keeping an eye on things, and both teams pretty much doing the exact same thing. Now it's IG's turn to go and push out middle lane, and for LAI to assume a slightly more aggressive position on the map. XZ actually making his way down bot, just to get the cleared out as quickly as possible. Actually another 5k gold up on this axe, so Shiva's or AC could be his before too long. Slark's looking pretty maxed out. I don't think he wants to get rid of the Blink Dagger this game. There's plenty of targets that are worth just Blink Abyssaling and killing off. If he Blink Abyssals and kills the puck, then that could be fight over right there. And Burning right underneath this Radiant Ward, needs to be careful about how much he's showing himself. Does have his illusions ready to choke down on these lanes, and mid lane's pushing in, so LAI losing control of the map somewhat. We've got a smoke picked up for Chizbug, and with a bunch of sentry wards placed around the area, looks like IG might be trying to move out here. The line has been drawn by Super, realizing that we could get a wraparound from the east, and looks like he's actually gonna, they're actually gonna be leading that charge. XCT a little bit further back, but he's got those remnants ready to jump forward. XZ leads the charge along with XCD straight into IG, who's gonna be caught first. June's at the front, he's got that refresher, but we've got the Blink Call. Can they burst him down? In comes the Mystic Flare along with the Ice Blast, and IG with that cannot take this fight. Do we have a tied buyback? We do not, and that could be the most important thing we've had happen in like the last 20 minutes or so. We've got the MKB up for the Ember now as well. LAI making their way over to the pit. IG will still be looking to contest this with the Song of the Siren, but probably not playing it too aggressively. Do we have another smoke for LAI? No, just moving as a group. Gonna try and force IG away from the pit right now. 40 seconds to the tide being back up. Ferrari just waiting around in the fog. Gets the Bloodlust move speed. XZ looking for this initiation. He gets the Ogre. Blade Mail comes out. They burst down one. Ice Blast not even needed. In comes the Song, but what are they setting up for? There's no one to catch. There's no Tide Hunter. There's no Tide buyback. XCT realizing exactly what's going on, jumps in aggressively with the Searing Chains, but the call's being made. XCD and XZ just blink straight into the pit. Start working away at Roshan. Super covering the cliff right now, and well, I guess it's up to Ferrari to make some big plays. No Song for 30 seconds. Roshan almost dead. Orb scouts it out. Is he going to jump in and go for it? He jumps in, he goes for it, but he doesn't get it. Axe already picking up the Aegis of the Immortal. Abyssal Blade gets dropped. No chance for Puck to get out of there. Ferrari looking to make the plays, but ends up being punished, and now they have Tide, but they have no Puck. And I think that means that LAI just pushed straight up mid. There is a Song of the Siren and a Glyph to stall, so IG have at least 10-15 seconds of reduction off of this respawn time, but I think it's still going to be enough for the Radiant team to cause some commotion here over at the Dire base. Burning just continuing to clone individual Naga Siren illusions off down the lane, trying to stall this push as much as possible, but he wasn't able to intercept the creep wave. LAI doing a really good job of escorting it all the way up the lane. They get the backdoor protection disabled on mid, and they swing straight bottom. They did the damage here earlier. Out comes the Song. I think Burning is just stalling for this one. As this gets released, we might have BKBs popped. XZ perhaps looking for the initiation. The Radiance burn, immediately canceling his blink. XZ just going straight in on top of the racks. Out comes the first Ravage. XZ is going to pop his BKB and just go to work. The refresher was used, but no secondary Ravage available. Melee barracks dropping quickly. XCT on a bit of a world tour, but he jumps in, gets the Naga Siren, brings her down. In comes the buyback. XCD with the Shadow Dance wants to finish off the melee barracks. He's going to get it. Chizbug gets the speed over on Burning. He wants to try and get out of the base and catch somebody if he can, but there's no chance. Top lane's pushing in and needs to be cleared. Mid lane's pushing in and needs to be cleared. And, well, bottom lane has already been cleared, at least of its barracks. Range rack's still up, but I think at this stage, LAI are still hungry and looking for more. They've got Axe with an Aegis. Not a care in the world. Shiva's popped out. He's going to be jumping straight in. Looks towards Chizbug. Reconsiders whether or not the Ogre is the optimal choice here. Gets slowed up. Couple of impetus shots coming out of Lua. We've got the Hex over on XCD. He doesn't have the Aegis. He needs to keep that in mind. 100 seconds dead. XC just going to drop a chop on a Nagasaran illusion, trying to escape, and out comes the song. XC goes down. The Aegis is being used. It's all up to XCT to do the damage, but needs to avoid being locked down here. XC going to pop that BKB. No TP, so I think he's going to fight to the death. Doesn't have his ultimate. Used it on that illusion earlier. Gets locked down. Couple more impetuses flying into his face. Yule Scepter off cooldown in just a second for Ferrari as he gets in front of the Axe. XTT still doing his best to get slowed up by burning. That's going to force the BKB. Axe does end up going down off to the side. Do we have any remnants left? No, so this net from burning may actually be enough to kill XTT. Ferrari jumps in with the Hex. LAI Gaming, it is an absolute rout. They lose 4, they lose the Aegis, and a battered but still alive IG team. Actually, screw battered. They're all on full HP. They're charging straight down mid, looking towards this tier 2. And now it's LAI on the defensive. They've got a buyback from their Ember Spirit, and they may be forced to use it. There's a very angry fishwoman raiding right at the doorstep to their base. Do they have another Ravage? They do. Refresher was used earlier, but was not popped off, so initiation potential is definitely there for IG. If they can drop the Hex on the Ember Spirit, this could be the beginning of 2 lanes of Rax. Slark coming up in 15 seconds, however. And it looks like IG, having bought back on the Nagasaran, are going to call the retreat. So just a terrible couple of minutes for IG there. They got the Tidehunter blown up. Then they used the Song, but there was no counter initiation, so they didn't have Song to try and stop Roshan. Then Ferrari, realizing that the only hope that he had was to try and steal the Aegis, gets caught by a call. Then LAI push in on mid and go for bottom, where the Tidehunter once again gets blown up and doesn't manage to get off his second Ravage, but somehow IG managed to catch everybody on mid with that absurdly low cooldown Song of the Siren, and finally get some semblance of a punish off. So net worth and experience are both going to dip down a bit. That was a huge fight experience-wise for IG. They just closed a 40k experience gap down to a mere 20,000. And I mean, as much as it feels strange to call 20k a small gap in experience, yeah, having it down is definitely a very big deal. So props to IG on that one, and that had secured them all of their level 16s and above. So they're not done scaling just yet, but they have managed to at least catch up a little bit on that front. Looks like Ferrari has his Ags complete, going to be working towards a Refresher Orb. Meanwhile, burning pretty much just courier items for him at this stage, along with buyback, which is cooling down for another 3 minutes. June, meanwhile, has actually just picked up a Robe of the Magi. I don't know exactly what he's looking for with that one. We'll see what he ends up going for. And the Refresher Orb is actually completed for Puck, so Ferrari with the double coil, double hex, ready to make some plays.
I'll take that.
And at this point, I kind of just want to look at buyback status. If we have any new items, we can have a very quick look right now. I've got a Force Staff for the AA. He's picked up a Void Stone, so it looks like he's working on a hex. 5400 is still just doing all of the warding, so no big surprises to not see a whole lot of stuff in his inventory. Luo placing down a very smart ward, given that LAI have their gem. Just trying to place whatever he can to get minuscule vision and not have it be dewarded.
Damage.
And actually 6k gold on this Slark, so buyback or another item coming up pretty soon. Could still do well with the Shivas, honestly, at this point, but the only thing you can really consider getting rid of is Blink Dagger. Can also upgrade the Power Treads. The Travel's always nice to have against Split Push. He can go and deal with a lane, blink back, Boots of Travel to his team who's waiting on bottom, and they can, or stay on mid because bottom's already raxed, and they can group up and push up onto the high ground. That's kind of the Ember Spirit's job, but having the Slark along for the ride definitely doesn't hurt too much. So I'm just kind of sitting around for the time being. I don't think we have any smokes available. 1 minute on a smoke for LAI, and how many minutes on a smoke for IG? 10 minutes on a smoke, at least in stock, but there is one last smoke on the courier, gets passed over to the inventory of Luo, and the smoke could prove to be a very big deal. Roshan, potential respawn in about a minute's time, as these Nagasaran illusions continue to be a nuisance for the Ancient Apparition and co. And here's the smoke. IG looking for the initiation. They're sick of being jumped. They're sick of losing the tide right at the very start. They've smoked up all the way behind LAI. I don't know why they're all on bottom lane, but this earlier ward that got dewarded in the camp gives them an idea of what's going on. So they take the low road. XTT getting scattered up by a Radiance illusion from behind. Realizing that this is perhaps a little bit suspect. Gonna stick with his creep wave. The rest of his team is off to the side. The Slark knows that he hasn't been seen since that ward on bottom lane. So they're still suspicious, and they're going to look to turn over here. They jump in aggressively. They find Ferrari. They pop him down with the Abyssal Blade. Does he have buyback? No. Chizbug next on the list. Double dunk for XZ. Double kill. Burning comes in. Drops the song. They need these Ravages to land on everybody, but the BKB comes out of XCT. Out comes the chop. Drops the Refresher. There's the second Ravage, but it does nothing. Burning's being locked down by the bash. He's going to get cleaned up. Luo plinking away on the back lines, but it's a triple kill for XTD. Double kill for XZ. 2 buybacks coming out, but it's a Ravageless Tidehunter and an Enchantress at level 18. Burning's back into the fight, but XZ jumps in immediately. XCD comes in as well. There's the silence, and there is the Sleight of Fist. Ultra kill for the Slark. Can he make it a rampage? They burst down the Enchantress with the Ice Blast. June manages to make it back to the fountain, but at this stage, LAI game and just have to hit tier 4s and finish this game up. GG's going to be called by June, and as much as IG were probably the favorites coming into this one, LAI put on a very convincing performance. They keep their calm, they stay composed, they don't trip all over themselves trying to end the game before the Naga Siren gets big. They let the Naga Siren get her farm. They say, look, we don't care, we've got BKBs against the Puck and the Tide. Naga, you have to win this game by yourself. And, well, turns out that Burning, or at least Naga Siren as a hero, just didn't have it in her. So, nicely done by LAI. I think that is going to improve them to a 2-3 record overall so far in Star Series 11 China group stages, and IG will actually be dropping down to a 0-2 record, putting them firmly at the bottom of the ladder right now. So that's going to wrap it up for this game, guys. We'll be back in a couple of minutes' time with Speed versus HGT. Hope you've enjoyed the coverage so far this evening, and please stick with us as we head into our final 2 best of ones for the evening.